Hey everyone, and welcome to Computron Week Day 6. Today we take a look at Unite Warrior's Strafe. Strafe is a heavy retool of Unite Warrior's Blastoff. However, if you live in the US, he's essentially a new mold to you entirely. He's a very alien fighter plane. I really don't know what he is other than he's cool looking. That's about all I know. He's mostly white, you can see, with some red detailing running through the front area of the aircraft. There is no cockpit, which is awesome because it is a Cybertronian aircraft. There are no cockpits, so he's just an aircraft. He's got these big orange cannons right here on the front. He's got a very nice Autobot symbol there on the front. You've got these fins here that are mostly white with red detailing. You've got these white fins that stick up back here. The rear wings are all red, and you can see there's a very nice two-prong design there. And you've got some thrusters back here. You see on the side of the wings that are dark gunmetal, and then coming back here, you've got some more thruster detail that's decked out with some nice shiny silver. Overall, he's got a very unique vehicle mode. Most of his weapons in vehicle mode are already on display. These two orange cannons that we talked about earlier are removable, and all you have to do is untab them. They're tabbed in here to the top of this part here, and they're also tabbed in this way into the front of the aircraft. So you have to pull them up, and that loosens these, and you can pull these out here. So they're tabbed in there very solidly. They don't wiggle around much in aircraft mode, but if you want to take them out, you can. And there's several places to put them here. On the underside, you've got a peg hole here, a peg hole here, a peg hole here, a peg hole here. On the top, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 peg holes to choose from, or their normal mounting place up here at the front. And how you put those back in is you just loosen this a little bit, pop these back in like so, and then you line it all up. You make sure it all compresses, make sure everything lines up, those pegs get adjusted, and there you go. Now he does come with this, which is a little rifle that's molded in orange. Actually, it's molded in white and painted orange, my bad. And you can tab that in anywhere. You could put it here, you could put it up on one of his peg holes on right there. You could put it underneath, have it an underslung little gun like so. The possibilities are endless. This guy has the most peg holes I've ever seen in a vehicle mode. However, he also comes with a hand-foot gun, and this is Rook's hand-foot gun. If you'll notice that, it's painted in that very nice crimson color, and you can't really put that here. I mean, you could try, but it just totally ruins the sleekness of the aircraft. I much prefer to stow it under the wings as a sort of missile pod if you're going to do it. But once again, hand-foot guns, meh. I'm going to be honest, this is the figure I was looking forward to most. It hasn't seen a domestic release, and abroad it's seen only 2 releases, so you could say it's pretty exclusive. You know, all those months ago when we said Motormaster was who that mold was meant to be? Well, hands down, Strafe is who this mold was meant to be. Comparisons are tough due to his unique shape, but he fits in pretty well with the rest of the jets. Since we haven't seen a version of this mold either, we're going to transform him as well. So what you want to do first is pull out these guns. You can totally leave them in there if you want, but you don't have to. And as a matter of fact, they really don't belong in robot mode. They're just there for ease of storage if you do want to leave them on. So we'll take them off. So then what you want to do is you want to unpeg the side. You just kind of have to loosen him up a little bit. Then you want to take this whole canopy here and pull it back. You're not done with that yet. We'll come back to it. Then you want to bring these sections all the way up like so. And there's the arms. Then you want to come around here and you want to pull the whole rear of the vehicle out. And then they accordion down just like this, just like we've come to expect with most of our Combiner Wars legs, like so. Then you want to flip these fins up like that. They are on a swivel joint where you can twist them all over the place. From what I gather, that's leftover molding from blast off, and that has no purpose in any mode, so you just leave them where they're at. Then you take the leg, and this wing has to go somewhere, so what you do is you bend it down like this, and then fold that panel around. So once again, you bend it down like this, and then you fold that panel around, and then you take the foot, and it unhinges and swings up like so. Once again, unhinges and swings up like so. And there you've got his legs. So now what you're wanting to do is finish up right here. This actually, we'll pan up a little. This tabs in like that, and so then you can give this a little bit of a wiggle and make sure it sits flat along his back. So you just kind of have to mess with these panels back here so it sits flat, and that involves bringing this out just a little bit. Then you want to rotate his waist around, which is very tricky. It's got some set points. It tabs in pointing backwards, and it also tabs in pointing forwards. So once I bring it around, you'll hear it pop like that, and that's it locking into place for robot mode. And you want to stand him up, straighten him out. You can untab his elbows here, give him a little bit of an elbow bend, and then you want to rotate the head around, and there we have Strafe in his robot mode.
This is hands down the most unique Combiner Wars figure in both robot and vehicle mode. He's instantly identifiable.
Let's face it, Combiner Wars was littered with repeat experiences. Each mold had at least 3 releases. This fresh, unique, innovative figure is exactly what I needed. Here in robot mode, you can see he still remains a mostly white character with some red detailing. His arms are solid white with the exception of the light gray jet booster bits there. His chest is red with the exception of the white combiner peg which sits there. His whole lower torso down to the knee is red as well. Now it's molded red versus painted red, so you get a little bit of a different hue, but honestly I think it helps out a little bit. It's different enough. It's coming across worse on camera than it actually is, but it, you know, kind of breaks up the monotony, I feel. So it ends up being a good thing. Down on his legs you can see he's mostly white. He's got the red folded up here on the sides of his legs, and he has a silver toe. The head is absolutely gorgeous, stark white with that silver face and those bright blue eyes that just pop. In G1 he had a visor, but I think having the big swindle-like eyes really benefits this figure. It just gives him a lot of personality. Now in robot mode, his weapons are just as customizable as they were in vehicle mode. We'll go ahead and get the boring option out of the way first. You can give the hand-foot gun and have him hold it like that as a gun, but once again, no one does that. Then you can give him his rightful gun, like so, and have him hold his handheld gun, which is how I prefer to display him. But if you want to get creative, you can take his 2 guns from vehicle mode. Now the reason I don't store them on him is that in G1, these kind of vanished from his character model. You don't see them, so they're removable, so I just get rid of them. It just, to me, that makes the most sense. You can store them back here if you want. You can peg them in like so, and you can have them pointed kind of backwards and up, you know, to give him some behind the shoulder guns, or you could even rotate them down. And I've seen people do this where you rotate them down and they're not super visible, but you can still see them a little bit down there. Or you could do what, at this point, everybody's yelling at the screen to have me do. Have him hold them like normal guns, like that. Or this figure manages to do the Rook thing with his thrusters. So you can peg them in there and give him like an extendo gun thingy. So not only does this guy have the Rook make your hand into a gun, or even, dare I do it, like that, give him the Hulk hand, you can also have him hold weapons appropriately. So it's the best of both worlds, I think. So, you know, possibilities are pretty endless, but if you're asking me, I just stick with the traditional rifle that he has and leave it at that. But yeah, weapons just as customizable as they were in vehicle mode. Posability, his head is on a ball joint rotating to the side with a little bit of up and down wiggle. He's not got much room on this little platform his head sits on, which brings me to another point. You're more than likely going to move that platform when you're posing his head. The ball joint on the neck is stiffer than the joint holding that. It's just the way it goes. You do have a ball joint at the shoulder with a cutout to the side, but it doesn't get out very far due to the molding. You have an upper elbow rotation, an elbow bend, which it bends all the way up using only one joint, which is very nice, and it doesn't look broken when you bend it either due to the way the molding works. And it's only about to right there when it looks a little bit, But hey, the elbow also tabs in straight, so you've got that little extra bit of range. His waist does rotate, but you remember I talked about how it tabs in, so you get a little bit of rock there around that joint. But if you want to go any further, you're gonna have to pop it past. So you've either got that, and I don't want to break it, or that. So you've kind of got to play around with that locking mechanism. You don't get very subtle waist turns. You can turn it, but once again, not subtle. You get your ball joint at the hip with a cutout to the side, upper thigh rotation, and you do get a knee bend, and it has returned the ankle tilt. So he manages to get an ankle tilt. One of the few Combiner Wars figures to make out with that, but hey, it helps him look great, and it's a great feature. So
Strafe is a bookend, the grand finale to Combiner Wars, a reminder of where we came from and what's to come.
It's apparent that the designers learned from this line. I mean, let's break it down. Across the board, all the deluxes had the same basic skeleton. What was done around those skeletons is what made or broke a figure. Strafe is no exception. He's the same basic skeleton, but everything around it is innovative and thoughtful. He's definitely the high point of the line, exhibiting everything great about Combiner Wars.
He's definitely my favorite figure from the set, and it's safe to say he's one of my favorites from the entire line. Not to knock on the Hasbro version, but it just doesn't accomplish as much as this one.
We've had a lot of hits and misses throughout Combiner Wars, and reviewing all of them has personally given me an idea of what makes a good Combiner Wars figure. Soul. Yeah, you can make repaints all day long, but if there's no soul to it, you're just making another smokescreen. Strafe is full of soul. His whole design is intentional. He's beautiful in both robot and vehicle mode. He transforms effectively, he's superposable, and he's full of character. What a way to end, huh? Thanks for watching Computron Week. We still have one day left, and I'll see you tomorrow.